Hello, everyone, and welcome back to your boy, the Sean Davey Way Show. Please hit that like and subscribe on the way in. Tap that bell if you would like to be notified of all of our future content. Today, I bring you a video on Braylon Howard, surviving Braylon Howard. I've never done a video on someone under the age of 18. This is the first, but I think it is necessary. And we're not just going to talk about Braylon being exposed. We're going to talk about his father and his mother as well, Royce Reed and Dwight Howard. Dwight, Royce, and Braylon have a very strained relationship. Braylon is a lot closer to his mother than he is his father, but he's never exposed Royce for anything. He's always had nothing but love and admiration for her. But when it comes to Dwight, that's a whole nother story. Let's get into when Braylon exposed Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard reacts to 12-year-old son exposing him. Article done in October 2020. One of Dwight Howard's children made headlines recently when he exposed how fraught his relationship with his NBA star father actually was. Braylon, 12, went into great detail about his issues with Howard during a recent session on Instagram. Braylon's quote, "As of right now, I hate you," he said. "And I'm not saying this because someone told me to. I actually hate you. You don't talk to me at all. Once Layla gets old as me, she's going to feel the same way. We made you Roblox accounts so you could play with us when you were in Atlanta and we're here. Do you ever play on it? No, you don't ever play with us. The only time you play with us is when we're with you, and that's rare when we're with you. Every time we go to the house, we always be with Mama V. All of our other parents have said we don't need a nanny."
Oh, I hate you. And I'm not saying this because someone told me to. I actually hate you. You don't talk to me at all. Once Layla gets as old as me, she's gonna feel the same way. You don't talk to any of us. We made you a Roblox account so you could play with us when you're in Atlanta and we're here. Do you ever play on it? No. Don't ever play with us. Only time you do something with us is if we're with you, and that's rare.
This week, Howard came out and responded to his son's claims by suggesting that he has always been a great father. Dwight's quote, "I'm not the person to get online or go through media and bash anybody," he said during an appearance on the Frank Sky radio show. "The only thing I will address is the issue anybody thinking that I'm a deadbeat father. Currently, I have a child with me now. My son lives with me. There's no way I could be a deadbeat dad if I had a son that lives with me. The situation with my other son is unfortunate that a lot of things have been made public." I know, when Royce Reed said that Dwight Howard is an evil person, I could not agree with her more. Let's start with Braylon. Braylon is sitting here expressing himself and stating how the distance between he and his father makes him hate him. And I think the reason of that being is because Dwight's son lives with him. Dwight's youngest son's mother passed away, and he has custody over said child because his mother passed, okay? Common sense. So Dwight's saying that he's a good father and can't be a deadbeat father because he has a child living with him. That's not the child online saying that he hates you. Why wouldn't Braylon be jealous of his younger brother living with you, spending all of this time with you, if he rarely ever gets to do that himself? So Dwight, just because you pay child support or are around your kids does not make you a present father. Present fathers are good fathers. One that makes sure that their kids are around them when they're spending that quality time, making sure they get to know them and whatnot. And you barely know anything about Braylon. Braylon has tried to show you his interests like Roblox and stuff like that, so that when you're not in town, when you're not around, he can still communicate with you by doing something fun that the both of you enjoy, and you won't even do that. So you feeling like you're a good father because you're taking care of a kid does not make you a good dad. I don't know who told you that. You are supposed to take care of all of your children the same way. No one is loved more than the next. So a good father is a man taking care of all of his children, not just some of them. A man that is spending consistent time with all of his children. So just because you are financially taking care of these kids does not mean that you are a good father. It does not mean that. And instead of sitting there trying to listen to your son and hear him out and figure out why he feels this way, instead, you try to protect your image so that people don't look at you sideways. Because again, why would this young man lie on you? He's only repeating the same things that his mother has said, that you are not a present father. You are not around him. You basically abandon him until it's time for you guys to see each other again, meaning you're not calling, you're not texting, you're not doing drop-bys to just pick him up and randomly take him somewhere, a park or out to eat. You're not FaceTiming. You're not doing any of those things. You only talk to him when you see him. Good fathers do not do that. So, according to what Braylon is saying, Dwight, you are a horrible father. Back into the article, Dwight's quote. But even before this season started back up, he lived with me for 3 months. He stayed in my house. We woke up every morning. We worked out together. We ran together. We ate together. We did everything together. He followed me around the whole house. It was the most time we spent together like that. A lot of the things that are being said, I hate. That it's our own people making it seem as though I'm somebody that I'm not. I've always been a great father. Is there areas of improvement? Of course. Just like there is in life with basketball. Anything that I do, Howard continued. I've never been that type of person. I lost one of my son's moms. Passed away earlier this year. I was given the responsibility to have my son with me full time. And he really has changed my life. He is one of the biggest reasons why I was able to go out there and help this team win the championship. There's no way I could be the person that they say I am. Howard was then pressed on whether he had reached out to Braylon since the youngster's comments went viral. Dwight's quote, "Unfortunately, I haven't. It's been a lot of things going on, but it's personal. I'd rather keep that side out." Side note, again, Dwight is completely disconnected from reality when it comes to being a father. Again, you're only taking care of your son that lives with you full time because his mom passed away. Otherwise, you would not have custody of him, just like you don't have custody of any of your other children. You didn't want the responsibility to raise your son full time. Unfortunately, God rest his mother's soul, she was taken away due to an epileptic seizure. And that is why you have him. This is not a responsibility that you sought after, like went to court and battled for custody and whatnot because you love your son. You want to make sure that you can spend as much time with him as possible. Absolutely not. And you can tell how disconnected he is to his children, because if my son says something like this, I would reach out immediately and I wouldn't even be mad at him. I would just want to know why he feels how he feels and what I would need to do to change it. Dwight didn't even reach out to Braylon. How disconnected are you from your son? He's literally saying, Dwight, that he hates you. It doesn't get much powerful than that when it comes to feeling for a person. And this is your own kid. So that is hurt coming out of him. He is hurt by you and he doesn't really know how to express himself being a teenager. So help him figure out why he feels this way. Another thing I want you to pay attention to is Dwight said that his son, Braylon, stayed with him for 3 months straight and they hung out every single day. Pay attention to that because things happened while Jalen was there for those 3 months. Let's keep going with this article. Dwight's quote, "No matter what is going on, I love my son. I would never disrespect his mom. One day he'll be able to pass this toxicity and realize that we're living in a day now where they will KILL off a lot of our black men. And I don't want anything to ever happen to my son. He's too precious. His voice is great. He has a great mind. He's spiritually inclined and I don't want none of his life being taken away by any toxic behavior from anybody. I love him to death and he knows that. He'll always know that. Braylon has had the best life he could possibly have. He's going to the best schools. I've been a provider for him. Anything he's ever needed or wanted, he's always had. We just haven't been able to change our mindset in how we speak, how we act, and how we treat each other, he continued. Side note, there he goes again, making it seem as if just because he's been financially responsible for his children, that they should be incredible people. Well, he should be great. Braylon, he's a great kid because I bought him everything he's needed and he's went to the best schools and blah, blah, blah. Dwight, there's some things money just can't buy. Time spent, energy given, love given, none of that stuff you can pay for. So why do you think that just because you have been financially responsible for your kid that everything else can be left to the wayside? Well, my money has taken good care of him, so he should be just fine. He shouldn't have really any problems in the world because I've sent him to the best schools, and that does not mean anything. You can raise the same children in the same home and they all turn out different. One kid does this, one kid does that, one kid's get in trouble, one kid doesn't get in trouble. You know, it doesn't matter. And somebody needs to express this to him because he is definitely a narcissist to feel that the income makes him a good father. Because I financially taken care of them, I'm amazing. No, you are not amazing, because why does Braylon hate you if your money is so great? He doesn't want your money, he wants you. Before we drift into what Braylon allegedly did to get certain charges put on Royce Reed when she got arrested, let's get into Royce being removed from her gag order from Dwight Howard and finally being able to speak on the things that's been going on. I feel that it's important to listen to Royce because it explains some things later on that we're going to get into. One of them is why Royce's son was inappropriate with another teenager. Okay, we're going to definitely get into that, but I think a history is important before breaking down the present. Royce Reed is finally speaking out on Dwight Howard. Reed, who was on Basketball Wives, dated Howard, and the two share a 15-year-old son named Braylon. In the midst of Howard himself being embroiled in legal troubles with a Georgia man accusing the former NBA star of SA, Reed is free from the gag order Howard used against her previously, and she can freely talk about some of the things that Howard has put her through. Reed was a former Orlando Magic cheerleader where Howard used to play. Reed was Howard's former partner and spoke out against the basketball player when a video of him motivating his children went viral. Reed claimed that Howard told a 12-year-old that he was gay for not watching explicit material, according to the comments that Reed herself made in the comment section of the Shade Room's post after describing Howard as an evil person. Side note, so while Royce and Howard were around each other, there was a 12-year-old that was hanging out around them, and Howard called the 12-year-old gay because he would not watch explicit material. Now, that explicit material obviously had nudity and other things in it. And for Howard to call the young man gay for not watching it, it stems towards grooming, if you ask me. Why would you want a 12-year-old to watch explicit material? And if the 12-year-old declined, why does the 12-year-old have to be gay because they didn't do what you wanted them to do? No, Howard, you are gay, because groomers do this all the time. They'll put certain little tidbits in front of the unsuspecting victim, and it will gradually grow into something else. So again, if Dwight's son Braylon was doing inappropriate things with another teenager, where do you think he got it? You know, some would ponder and say, well, Sean, you just read an article that stated that Dwight's son Braylon hates him and they barely spent any time around each other and whatnot. So how would Dwight be teaching him these things or grooming him if he's not around him? That's why I stated earlier to pay attention to Dwight stating that Braylon stayed with him for 3 months straight. They did everything together. Walked, talked, ate, exercised, anything you can think of pretty much. They were inseparable is what he stated. They were hip and hip. This is the same summer when these allegations came out about Braylon. 100%. So that is when Dwight was allegedly grooming him to do whatever he ended up doing on his own. And grooming a person is showing them inappropriate things, doing inappropriate things around them, and letting them see you behave inappropriately. And by your influence, they feel as if they can do the same thing. So that's the whole grooming aspect. Just because Dwight was showing him these things, it wasn't Dwight giving him permission to do what Braylon did or telling Braylon to do what he did. It's the influence. By what I've seen, this is what I'm going to do. So if a young child, certain things is happening to them and while their mind is being molded, I should say, and they get older and practice that same energy around other people, other unsuspecting people, they're doing it because they don't think it's wrong. They have been taught this. It would take somebody else to come in, like the teenager that Braylon did this to come in and let Braylon know that this isn't right. What you were doing is wrong. And that is why the police were called. Because again, Braylon, in my opinion, had no idea that what he was doing is wrong because it had already been happening. He had already been influenced, allegedly, by his father, Dwight. If Dwight Howard will tell a 12-year-old boy that he is gay because he wouldn't watch explicit material, what do you think he did to Braylon? Come on now. Let's keep going. Let's get into exactly what happened with Braylon Howard. Being a celebrity kid is not exactly a walk in the park, despite the many benefits it may come with. One gets exposed to fame too early in life, which may sometimes be detrimental to their upbringing. Braylon Howard's case hasn't been any different. What happened to Braylon Howard? Braylon is the oldest child of Dwight Howard's kids with former Basketball Wives star Royce Reed. Braylon took to his Instagram account and called out his father for not being a good parent. Braylon Howard's Instagram account, which had a little over 5,000 followers, has since been deleted. Who has custody of Dwight Howard's son? Braylon. After Braylon's birth, his parents had a fallout that led to their separation. They have, over the years, been in and out of court, suing each other and openly fighting about their son's primary caregiver. Their battle became intense in 2010 when Dwight picked up Braylon from daycare without informing Reed. She called the police on him. The custody battle went on year after year until they finally decided to become cordial for the sake of their son. However, it might not have played out as well years later. Reed reported that the young boy had a difficult relationship with his father. Braylon has lived mostly with his mom, thus seeing his father sparingly due to the dysfunctional relationship between his parents. This led to him to record an Instagram video calling out his father for being absent and saying how much he hated him. What did Braylon do? After Braylon was charged, the court ordered for him not to hang around any kids 2 years younger than him and lower. However, Reed permitted him and later turned herself in for defying a court order. She also noted that she had been making him see a treatment counselor. Side note, so I don't want people to have it confused. When Royce got arrested, she got arrested for letting her son basically hang out with children a little bit younger than him, like birthday parties, parks, and other places, arcades, bowling alleys, skating rinks, and whatnot. Him basically just hanging out. Someone called the police on him for being around kids younger than him. So he didn't do anything within that moment in time. He had already done it. And what he did to the other child, he did it at his father's home. It happened at Dwight's house. So after it happened and Braylon got in trouble and went to court, and all of that stuff, he was ordered to stay away from children 2 years and younger than him, basically having to register, right? And then Royce defied that order because, of course, he's a kid. So it's like, how can I keep him? It's hard. It's easier said than done. I get what she means, but at the same time, if the court ordered it, you're supposed to do everything in your due diligence to make sure that Braylon is not around anybody 2 years and younger than him. But Royce decided to turn herself in because he was hanging around the kids. And she felt like Braylon was doing a lot better because she's had him in treatment. She's had him talking to counselors and therapists, and stuff like that. So she feels like he's getting older and better. Like, she feels like he's healing and coming out of this situation so that he won't do these things again. And he didn't. But the court order is still in existence, so Braylon has to listen to it, and so does Royce. Royce did not get arrested for what Braylon did. So the mugshot that everybody sees, you see that mugshot because she let him hang around kids younger than him, okay? So I hope that confusion has been cleared up. Having and sustaining a broken family is more challenging than it looks. It requires two adults who put their children's interest above anything and everything else. Failure to do which is bile of their relationship trickles down to the children, as it happened with NBA star Dwight Howard and actress Royce Reed. Parents to Braylon Howard. There's definitely more to this story when it comes to Royce Reed and the information that she has on what's going on in Dwight Howard's household. When she dropped down into the Shade Room's comments after the gag order was removed that Dwight Howard had on her, she didn't just drop facts about him being evil and dropping facts about the poly relationship that he wanted her to be the matriarch of. She also stated alleged activity that was going on with Dwight Howard's children and the nannies that he had hired. Let's get into that. I also feel that this explains what may have happened to Braylon. Article from the Shade Room. A short time later, Reed stepped into the Shade Room's comment section explaining that she sat quiet for years and now she's done. Reed alleged that Howard is evil and allegedly told a 12-year-old that he is gay for not partaking in sexual activity. Additionally, she alleged that it took Howard 4.5 years to fire the nanny that M-worded 2 of his kids. Furthermore, Reed explained that she's going to defend her village despite allegedly being asked by Howard to sign an NDA. Comments came up about what her son Braylon did. Her quote, "You want to bash a 12-year-old for doing what his father told him to do? I'm fully triggered because they have no idea what this man is doing to all of us behind closed doors." Before hopping out of the Shade Room's Instagram comments, Reed also shared a brief statement regarding her son's alleged inappropriate conduct with minors, seemingly implying that the incident occurred at Howard's residence. Her quote, "It happened at his house under his supervision." So again, Royce is saying that Dwight told her son to do what he did. And on top of that, it happened at his house under his supervision. And she is not lying. When Braylon did what he did, it was not at Royce's home. It was not there. When the police and whatnot were called, they were called on Braylon and they came to Dwight's house, and Braylon was not at Dwight's house. He was at Royce's home. So that's when the charges came towards that way. But Braylon was charged, not Royce. When Royce went to jail or got arrested, it was because she allowed Braylon to hang around people younger than him. Not because of what he did, because it didn't happen at her house or underneath her supervision. It happened with Dwight. To even further prove that this happened at Dwight's house, Royce blasted some information that basically let us know what happened to Braylon. Allegedly, one of the nannies that stayed there was doing things to the kids. There was male nannies and female nannies. As soon as someone hears the word nanny, they automatically go to female. No, plenty of people use male nannies, and Dwight was one of those people. Allegedly, a nanny touched 2 of Dwight's children. Let's get into that. In Royce's quote, she said it took 4.5 years for Dwight to get rid of this nanny. If you pay attention earlier in Braylon's quote, Braylon stated that all of the family told Dwight to get rid of the nannies, that the nannies were not needed. Now, I don't know if they were trying to protect the nanny or if they were trying to protect Dwight because Dwight had something going on with the nanny. Only Dwight knows that situation. But with Royce stating that 2 of the children were harmed by this nanny, she never stated the identity of the 2 children. She said 2 kids. I'm assuming that one of those children were Braylon. And who was this alleged nanny? I love you all. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. And until the next one, I'll see you later. Bye.